You must build a 5-story building. And this is how you get your wealth and power. Now, the first thing you work on is economics. You started practicing group economics, making your money bounce in your own community 8 to 12 times before it leaves. The second floor is politics. Our people got that backwards. They want to get into politics before they get in the economy. Backwards as hell. You won't make it. You buy every politician with the money you made on the first floor. The third floor is your court system, your police system. You control the court system so they won't be getting 40 years in jail for having marijuana. Then the fourth floor is media. You take your money off the first floor and you buy media. Black folk own 35 thousandths of 1% in media. You don't own media, you can't communicate, can't organize, you can't motivate. The fifth floor is education. Education is a tool, just like a hammer and a saw. But you got to have an economy. See, when a kid graduates from school, the first thing you do, he should be able to go back to his own community and start building businesses and industries and drawing money into his community and holding it.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. This is Brian HRap B. Williams. This is the End of the Bench Media presents 15 Minutes with HRap as I bring you something that I feel that will uplift the community. Today it's Wednesday. Wonderful Wednesday. Thank you to my parents, John and Dolores. Without them, there is no me. Without me, you'd be doing something else right now. Really appreciate it. Before we even get started, hit that thumbs up, like, please, please, please hit that thumbs up, like button. It is important. Now, you can watch this today on YouTube or, as you see at the bottom of the screen, www.thaendofdabench.com, www.thaendofdabench.com, thaendofdabench.com, where you can watch this video in its entirety. There's a video that I'm going to show you about Black cooks. It's called Cookout. Called Cookout for a reason. Black cooks. I want you to watch that video. Go there, hit the like, hit the share, watch it, or you can watch it on Country Boys. The host's name is Country Boy. I apologize. One Mike History. Two, do both of us a favor. Go watch on my website. That way, I get the streaming. He gets the credit. We both are happy. One hand washes the other, both hands washes the face. Now, with that being said, what I want us to do is pay attention to what we're doing. Anytime someone from outside of this community does something humane or treats you as you should be treated, it seems that we go, hey, you got an invitation to the cookout. No, we're not going to do that anymore. No more invitations to the cookout. And not because we're being rude, not because we're being exclusive, and not being inclusive. No, it's not because of that. Because the cookout is a time-honored tradition in which we share certain things. We invented the family reunion. The family reunion was invented by us. Guess why? Because we were enslaved and we were separated. Some of our children were passed down the road. Some of our children were taken to other states. So we reunited as a family. We reunited. And what does that bring about? That brought about things like Memorial Day, because what they did at the end of us was take a bunch of our fallen soldiers, a bunch of our ancestors, brothers, sisters, nieces, nephews, cousins, aunts and uncles, grandparents, and put them in a big grave as if they were a bunch of cattle. No, our people dug those people up and gave them honorable graves. Memorial Day. Now it's celebrated throughout the United States of America. Family reunions, again, to remember. Our families were dismembered, but we remember them, and it is a reunion. So this is what the cookout should be for. The cookout should be for those purposes, to reunite as a family, to reunite as a community, and to reunite as a people. We can no longer invite people to those instances. I'm going to show you something about Black people who cook and how we pour love and endearment into cooking, even in horrible situations. This is why I want you to subscribe to Country Boys One Mike History, because he's educating people on things that we need to know. Last night, I had a 3-hour conversation with a very good friend, and he's going to be one of the guests on the up-and-coming, the impending Rapping with HRap in 2025, because we need to remember the beauty of our community. We need to remember the ugly of our community, and we need to take that beauty and take that ugly, put it together and create a utopian community that we can appreciate. No more trash on the ground. No more police harassing us, taking care of political aspirations, taking care of academic aspirations, taking care of social aspirations, after schools aspirations. We at one point had that. We were working towards that. And when we start fighting for civil rights, mean not to be civil, but civilian rights for equal opportunity for everybody in this country, we got that misconstrued. What I want us to do is look at this video first and foremost, and then when I come back, it'll give you an idea of what I'm speaking of. I'll continue this portion of the conversation. This is a beautiful video. One Mic History on YouTube, or please, I ask you, go to my website, check me out, subscribe here on YouTube, hit that like button, do everything I ask, please. I'm kidding, but I want you to understand this is for the enhancement of our community, because when you enhance us, we enhance everything that has been beneficial in these United States of America to the Black community has enhanced the entire populace. So why don't we enhance us? I'll be back shortly. This is One Mic History with my main man, Country Boy, and I'll be back.
In 1784, a young man by the name of James Hemmings was torn away from his family, sent to France to master French cuisine, and then upon returning to Virginia, he became Thomas Jefferson's enslaved chef. And this story is just one in a disturbing pattern, because for centuries, Black cooks fueled America's culinary rise, but rarely saw recognition or the rewards. They labored on plantation kitchens, their skills stolen, and their contributions erased. But their legacy lives on, from barbecue to soul food. So today, we're going to unfold the untold stories of Black cooks who shaped American cuisine. And if you like stories like this, you can find more stories like this at onemichistory.com. But without further ado, let's get started. To appreciate the history and the impact of Black cooks, we must journey back to the rich culinary traditions of pre-colonial Western Africa. Even though historical records from the era remain limited, vibrant ingenuity of these culinary practices remain evident in the ingredients and techniques that enslaved Africans brought with them to the New World. In Western Africa, the art of seasoning and saucing was paramount. Cooks skillfully deployed a diverse array of spices and flavorful pastes, elevating each dish that they crafted. This culinary alchemy was perhaps most evident in American barbecue. Historical.
Hey, hope that intrigued you enough to go to www.thaendofdabench.com. Please do. Thank you. Go to www.thaendofdabench.com and check that video out in its entirety. Look, as I stated a second ago, the cookout is something that is cherished in our community. We can no longer walk around and, oh man, you did something that was humane. You did something that you should do. You know what? You did something. You treated me like a human being. So we're going to invite you on the inner circles of our community. No, we can no longer do that. You can invite people who you like to your home. But when we use terms like the cookout is a rallying point. The cookout is where our elders talked, the elder men talked about things, the elder women talked about things. They came together and decided what they were going to do in our community, how they were going to uplift our community, how they were going to enhance our academics, how they were going to enhance our personage, how they were going to enhance everything about us, how we were going to support certain businesses, how we were not going to allow people to come in and hurt us. There are several books on these things, like We Shoot Back, that nonviolent stuff will get you killed, and other books that, The Covenant, released by Tavis Smiley, re-released in the last 90 days by Tavis Smiley. We must get back to that, because if we are to be if we are to live up to our abilities, we are going to have to stop just accepting things. Look, let's stop the separation first and foremost. This stupid internet created civil war between Black men and Black women. And then when Black men and Black women come together, we denigrate Black children. We can no longer be on that page. That's not what the cookout is for. Because see, when you're around younger people, they introduce you to new and newfangled things and interesting things, and you introduce them to older things. You may, oh, that music sounds like trash, but guess what? My great grandmother, Esther Whitmore, she thought Dolores Whitmore's music was trash. Dolores Whitmore thought Dolores Pollard's Whitmore music was trash. Dolores Pollard, which is my mother, thought my music was trash. So there's nothing new about not liking your music. Pete, you get to a point in your life where this is the box that my music is in. And something may infiltrate that box, a new artist, but this is where your music sits. This is where your entertainment sits. This is where your palette sits. And that's how it traditionally goes. We can no longer denigrate somebody because they have elevated past something else. We do the same thing with movies, our entertainers, our movie stars, our athletic people, and so forth and so on. Let's stop this segregation of the Black community from each other. We were already on the foundation. House Negro, field Negro, light Negro, dark Negro. Now, fat Negro, slim Negro. We can no longer do that. We have Black people of all hues, all hair textures, all sizes. It doesn't make a difference. We are Black people. I don't care if you're from the Caribbean. I don't care if you're from the continent. I don't care if you're from Canada. I don't care if you're from Mexico. When you see something or someone, that looks like this, there's a problem by and large in these United States of America. We can no longer buy into the tropes and idiosyncrasies that white America has put in front of us so we can continue to self-segregate. We can do that no longer. This is why just because someone does something humane, hey, guess what? We did something humane. We forced the United States federal government to enact the Civil Rights Act. Guess who that benefited? White women. Guess who that benefited? People who migrate to this country. Guess who it didn't truly benefit to the extent that you thought it was? Us. Because we saw an opportunity to integrate when we actually had the opportunity to just continue to build upward. We don't need to build outward. We already have a community. We need to build upward. We need to create an infrastructure. Like Dr. Claude Anderson says at the beginning of this program, we need to create those 5 floors. That's what we need to create. We need to focus on our families. I personally am involved with Ancestry.com. And that's what motivated me for today's episode. Ancestry.com has introduced me to my grandfather, George Williams. I knew him, but I didn't know his father. I knew my grandfather, Richard Pollard, but I don't know anything about his father. Now, my mother's parents and my grandmother's parents, in both instances, both of my grandmothers and their parents, I knew about them, but I knew nothing about Richard and George. We have an issue with violence in our community. You guys have allowed the news media to tell you that Black on Black crime is a thing. Not a problem. Let's resolve it. Because here's the thing with Ancestry.com, and I'm not doing a promo. They're not giving me a dime. I'm doing this a promo for us. Ancestry.com will connect me with relatives. For example, I moved into a community when I was a very young man on the north side of Chicago. One of the very first people I met was this guy by the name of Sean. When I met Sean, we hit it off instantly. A very cool guy, laid back. Everybody likes Sean. 30 years later, I find out Sean is my second cousin. I find out Sean's father and my father are first cousins. Sean's grandmother and my grandmother are sisters. What happens in the event that me and Sean would have had angst? We would have been having angst against one family member against another family member. The reason Ancestry.com is beneficial to us, especially, is because we do have violence in our community. We have been subjected to the tyranny of the United States federal government putting that white kryptonite called crack cocaine and other drugs in our community. They have put us in abject, they have forced us in a caste system of abject poverty and allow one or two of us to get out. But guess what? If you knew that the guy in the gang down the way was your cousin, you would be less likely to kill him. I'm not saying you wouldn't, but guess what? It's harder to kill somebody who you know is related to you. It's harder to rob someone who you know is related to you. And guess what? Even if they're not related, we come together at these cookouts and we create a community again, because you're not going to rob Big Mo's mother. You're not going to rob Big Illinois' sister. because these are people that you are interwoven with. You will, in essence, protect them, just like domestic violence. You will stop someone from hurting someone's sister, cousin, aunt that you know. This is why we must spend it. Look, right now, it's $39. It's going to be $50 after taxes and shipping. $50 to find out who you're related to in the United States of America. The more we get to know each other, the more we will support each other. And don't fall in for that trope. Well, we don't support each other. Explain how 50 Cent is a millionaire on his way to billionaire. Explain who's supporting Cat Williams. So explain who supported Tyler Perry. Explain why Eddie Murphy is a superstar and why Denzel Washington is a superstar. And explain why Wakanda Forever is a trope that is being used for the next 20 years. These are the things that we need to pay attention to. We made Jamie Foxx's comeback special #1 thing on Netflix for a week. The #1 thing in Netflix for a week. So if we don't support each other, why our legends, why our entertainers, why are our stalwarts at the forefront of all phases of life? Explain that. You can't, because we do support. We do get behind things. But what we do is listen to the tropes that are put in front of us by white America, by racist America, by nationalist America, and it is an effort to continue to separate us. It's the reason that most people know who Fred Hampton is. It's the reason most people know who Dr. King is, Malcolm X, and so forth and so on. We know these people because we make sure you know about them. Again, we must end this civil war against our children. We must end this civil war against black men and women. Black men and black women. But first and foremost, we must come together and understand without each other, we will get nowhere. Y'all know I do every Friday an episode called Black Friday, in which I introduce something new that's black to support. I'm something black to support. I need you to hit that like. I need to hit that share. I need you to go to my website and watch that video about black cooks. It's at the top of the page. I think it's even before this episode, because I put the history on top, and then you can watch this episode. I need you to go and watch those things. If at the least, go subscribe to Country Boys One Mic History, because then you'll get the information that I'm disseminating to you at your pace, or you can continue, thank you, to support me. Salute to the people who have registered and subscribed. It is greatly appreciated. Salute to the people outside of the United States of America that have subscribed and supported. Thank you as well. Please share this episode because it's important. We are about, as I stated yesterday, we are about to embark upon some dark days in these United States. It's gonna be some trying times. We don't need people on stage denigrating us. We don't need any coons and buffoons. We don't need any of those things. We need black people who are going to entertain us and we're going to laugh. We're going to need black people who are going to enhance us and we're going to feel better. And we need people who are going to support us so we can move forward past these dark days and go right back into the uplifting and elevation of the community that our ancestors dreamed upon and that we are actually at the precipice of having. Thank you for tapping in. This is your man, HRap B. End of the Bench Media. 15 minutes with HRap is over. Talk to you tomorrow.
And it is necessary for those people who rule over us and who rule over African people the world over, if those people are to stay in power, they must destroy our ability to love each other in a healthy sort of way. This is why